Okay, first on say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim, Shai, Bashim, Kabadash. I'm gonna get double honor to others, apostles, and teachers, great middle son, for learning the truth. Now say Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. And Lord willing, this is gonna be a very quick video, but these are just the comments of an article that one of the brothers pulled out going into U.S. team plotted to kill Trump and flee to Ukraine, and he was recently caught. But you know, average Edomite type. Looking down into the comments, and people have a lot of interesting things to say about this. And I'm assuming this is like it very well could be Jake. Jake is some fucking Sambo ass niggas, and when you actually know about the story of what Uncle Tom and Sambo was the sellout. Tom was not the sellout. Sambo was. Just a little tidbit there. But the people use the term Uncle Tom when in reality Sambo was a sellout. But Uncle Tom just has a better ring to it. But going down to these comments here, because people commenting on shit going on, and there's one Jake. Well, I'm not sure this is Jake or Mike, but yeah, this comment here that says, "How many blacks are involved in terrorist attacks, mass murder, school shootings, etc., compared to so-called whites?" And pretty much that was a reply to this guy right here. It says, "Nope, because Chicago has so many radicalized black people." Which Chicago, it's just a bunch of fucking wild niggas. Wild, murderous ass, twisted piece of shit niggas. And Jake is bad, and there's even things where Jake will go above and beyond what the so-called white man does in wickedness. But something that Jake could never outdo the so-called white man in is murder. Like Jake will do some twisted ass like sexual deviant type shit that goes beyond what Esau would do. But when it comes to things like this, this whole thing was organized well. Like this little nigga had an actual plan. He murdered 17 years old. He murdered his parents, and I'm assuming his parents is well off because he took 14 grand cash from their house. He murdered both of them, took the dog, got some passports, got some weapons. He had a whole plan. When I say plan, you look at the article, I meant plan. This nigga was talking about taking out the president in order to cause some type of social chaos and the possible ramifications of doing so, of uprising. So this nigga had it makes sure how he had like a 3-page manifesto. This 17-year-old Edomite had big things going on. This nigga had big things planned. He had lofty fucking goals. And he was talking about moving to Ukraine to live a normal life, even though, outside the jurisdiction of the United States, so he couldn't be fucking charged. After what he called, this would save the white race. So this little nigga had big fucking plans for his brethren, his fellow murderers. But Jake, once again, Jake, when it comes, obviously both are wrong. But you gotta take into account the scale, because this guy right here is trying to make it seem as if, like this guy said, how many blacks are involved in terrorist attacks, mass murder, school shootings compared to so-called whites. It said, LOL, a lot of black people do drive-by shootings at groups of blacks all the time, and this is interesting because when you take it, once again, the scale of what's going on isn't the same. The scale is not the fucking same. A drive-by shooting and gunning down a couple of niggas, catching a few kids in the way. Okay, obviously, niggas gonna fucking pay for it. It's all fucking wicked. But when it comes to evil and wickedness, the so-called white man has the championship belt. And, you know, I was just looking into some genocides, because, like, when you try to type in, because, like, you have to actually look at, like, these different historical events when it comes to the so-called white man. Because you'll try to I try to type in, like, atrocities that white people committed. Nothing. You know, but you got to look at these different type of events. You know, and the different Edomite tribes, the conquistadors, when they murdered, like, in the numbers that they have, they're lowballing the numbers. Because I think one number they used was like conquistadors came over here and they murdered like a million, or the population was 1 million. They got it down to like 30,000 or something. Well, when you take the entirety of the United States of America was inhabited by Jake, the entirety of it, everything, it was inhabited by Jake. But the so-called white man knocked down that entire population. See, that alone trumps any type of shooting, any type of fucking stabbing, running and gunning thing that Jake has ever done. The scale isn't the fucking same. And you don't need, like, you can go to that alone. And then you have the transatlantic slave trade. See, you niggas can't. And I thought it was interesting because, like, what was a guy trying, and, like, Esau was, like, you know, that's why I believe the guy's an Edomite, because Esau will say some dumb shit like that. Now, once again, is this defending niggers? Absolutely not. Well, this is Habakkuk 2 and 4, you know, 5. And, you know, you got these different events. Also, you have, you know, what's going on in America today, right? Poisoned water. You got, what's that nigga? I forgot that nigga's name. What the fuck's that dude's name? It's some German nigga that's one of the leaders of the WHO. But this nigga pushed out the prospect of people consuming their own fecal matter for protein, or eating or drinking fucking cockroach milk, or eating bugs for protein. This nigga, these niggas, and once again, an Edomite, a Temanite, wants you people to eat your own shit. And what's not to say you're not doing it already? Because, like, you know, you get your whole sewer water filtration system and whatnot. Your water's poisoned. You don't know what's in the food you're eating. The food that says it's organic likely isn't organic. Everything is poisoned. And, you know, everybody's like driving right now. You see these different apartments where everybody is fucking boxed in on each other. Even when you go to, like, actual, like, you got these, like, I think these are townhomes. And you have, like, apartments where everybody's fucking boxed in on each other. And, you know, everybody's supposed to have their own space. You know, everything has been fucking polluted in one way or another by the so-called white man. And even when you go in, because, like, what you had, even when you go into how, you know, industrialization, right? The earth has been here for thousands of years. And the so-called white man fucked it up with, let's say, maybe about 200. Because, like, you had these different industrial revolutions. The machines came into play because you had Esau come over here, knock off all the buffalo. But then you had, like, pollution, fracking, all this technology, you know, destroying the earth. Well, I'd say within about, like, 200 years. Maybe 200, maybe 150 years, where all these machines were actually up and running and causing actual damage to the earth. But within about maybe 2 to 150 to maybe 300 years, the so-called white man has fucked everything up. The plants, the animals, entire species gone extinct. He's destroyed every fucking thing. This isn't, you know, like, you have people that'll say, hey, this is some type of, you know, this is, humanity has done this. Niggas don't own these damn machines where, you know, once again, oil fracking, fucking up the fucking up the land, digging in the land, blowing off blowing off the sides of mountains to get oil and resources, and not letting the land rest. The niggas don't own these companies that have machines continually, endlessly tilling the ground, because you're supposed to let the ground rest, because the earth is a living organism. The earth is everything we could possibly ever need. It's a living organism, and the resources the earth can replenish its own resources. Just like how the human body, it expends energy, throughout the day or night, or whatever the fuck you're doing, but then you have to give it rest so it can recharge. But the so-called white man doesn't do that. So once again, who's the one who's in control of all of these companies and corporations dumping oil in the fucking water? Jake isn't doing any of that shit. It's all fucking white people. So once again, you can't scale fucking niggas killing each other to fucking entire and the guy specifically mentioned terrorist attacks. Who's the nigga who led that attack on Trump? There were fucking Edomites. There was no niggas doing that. Who was the niggas who were engaged in all these mass shootings? Columbine. They're fucking Edomites. They're white people. Jake engaged in smaller petty crimes. See, y'all may be able to use, Sean Combs as an example of like fucking sex trafficking, but he's in league with Esau anyway. Who taught him how to do that? Who taught him the ins and outs of how to do that? You may say another Jake taught him. Well, who taught that nigga? Esau. It all goes back to the so-called white man. But then, and not only that, but the so-called white man will manipulate Jake and then point the finger at him and act like, because you have this whole school to prison pipeline thing, the type of music and culture that's being pushed on our people. And with our people being as impressionable as they are, and the so-called white man knows this, because they delve into psychology and all that shit, they use that to manipulate our people. For example, WAP, wet ass pussy. All of these dumb hoes running around singing wet ass pussy and WAP and doing all this shit. Where did they get that from? What's that bitch, Cardi B? They got that from her. But who's the one who's in control of her pushing that shit out? The so-called white man. It all goes back to him. Deforestation. Clearing out trees to put fucking concrete there, where grass can grow through concrete, which lets you know that concrete is not. There's certain areas where concrete isn't supposed to fucking be. A grass will grow through the shit. And there's this not a movie, but there's this little video on YouTube, and the name of the video is Man, and it's showing an Edomite from this caveman days going through, destroying everything, murdering all types of animals, destroying the terrain and whatnot. But in exchange for that destruction, he gets industrialization. And then, at the end, some UFOs come and kill the nigga. And who was the man? It's the name of the video is Man, but who's the man that was doing it? It was a white nigga. It was a white nigga in the little animation that was doing it. How come it wasn't a Jake? They could have made that nigga any color, but they made him white. Why is that? Because the white man is the one who's fucking destroying everything. And I'm going to get this, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, neither is he a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, and gathereth unto him all people, heapeth unto him all nations. And what? Who was that? Beware the beast man, the so-called white man. Who's the nation on earth that has death, that fills their pockets with death? What's that saying that Edomite said? When blood is in the streets, buy in the stock market, because that's when you make money. What war is the mother of invention? war is one of the events where you make the most money? Who's the niggas that's saying this type of shit? White niggas, white men. A drive-by shooting has nothing on a nigga trying to murder the fucking president. Or a nigga leading a campaign to exterminate an entire race of people. And when you want to talk about Hitler, I think what's the nigga's name? Joseph Stalin. He had like 22 million fucking kills. Hitler was not even the worst nigga. There's other niggas, other dictators that's worse than Hitler. That had many more times the number of kills that he had. So Hitler ain't, like, I don't know why he's posted up there as like, the genocide guy. He's not. There's Edomites that have committed far worse than this nigga. But this scripture is pretty much it, and like, it's not. It's just interesting that the guy tried to equate fucking drive-by shoes was the only thing he had. That was it. I just found it interesting. He was trying to equate drive-by shootings with mass murder, school shootings, and terrorist attacks. 9/11, cough, cough. Inside job, cough, cough. You're fucking FEMA camps, martial law, wanting to get the population down to like what? To like half a billion people? Who made up those plans? The King Alfred plan. Who's in control of all this shit? It's not Jake. But what was that? Fine. Say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shiva, Shabbat, Shabbat, Kadash. Devil, others, positive, teach, great, minister, following the truth. Shalom to Ophel, Israel, and shut your battle on Great America.